Broad daylight bullets. 2 hit. Over $500,000 in exotic cars. All of it on surveillance video obtained exclusively by 7 News from October. An ultra-quiet...
He's still
The dirt.
JCB Films with that fire gift, bro. I appreciate you.
OTL, fuck is you talking about? Why you say it like that for? Come on, get your picture, man, before you get beat up.
Oh, wait, ma.
I do wish you were ugly though. Back most down. Try to
Remember this.
No,
Free Hank.
all that.
Free Hank. All little members. Know what's going on.
Yeah.
Y'all three.
Y'all just in the state.
Let me get one.
Run, shooting, nigga.
Yeah, come people. You know.
Picture this. You're a white guy running with one of the most feared crews in South Memphis. Not as a joke, not as a mascot, as someone trusted to be present in real situations where mistakes get punished instantly. You survive environments most people wouldn't last a week in. Then one moment gets caught on camera. One clip flips how everyone sees you. And overnight, the same people who once called you family erase you completely. That's where White Grape's story really begins. And what happened after he got cut loose didn't just ruin his life. It ended someone else's. This isn't a rap story. It isn't hype. It's about how fast loyalty disappears when perception changes, and how race quietly shapes decisions in places where people claim it doesn't matter. To understand how things got this ugly, you have to understand Choppa Gang first. Choppa Gang didn't come from music. It came from survival. Pooh Shiesty grew up in the Cane Creek projects, surrounded by violence from an early age. His father was active in the streets, and later got locked up on serious charges while Pooh was still young. That environment shaped everything. Protection wasn't optional. You either aligned with people who could keep you safe, or you became a target. By the time Pooh reached Central High School, he was already locked in with other young hustlers trying to get money however they could. Big 30 became his closest ally. Others followed. They stayed armed, moved together, and built a reputation that spread fast. The name Choppa Gang stuck because it described their lifestyle. Their name traveled through fear, not talk. Violence made people take them seriously. And once people believe you're dangerous, that belief becomes your shield. Lose it, and everything changes. In Memphis, perception spreads faster than facts. The city itself is split by invisible lines. Train tracks divide neighborhoods. North Memphis, South Memphis, East Memphis. Each side has history, grudges, and beefs that go back years. Choppa Gang was rooted in the South, which automatically placed them in conflict with North Side crews. One of the most serious issues came from EBG. Pooh Shiesty and E Jizzle knew each other before music, before fame, before things turned deadly. When diss tracks dropped, they weren't entertainment. Back in Blood wasn't metaphorical. It referenced real robberies, real weapons taken, real disrespect. EBG fired back with visuals and slogans meant to strip Choppa Gang of credibility. Shots followed, people got hit, tension stayed high. In Memphis, a single sign of weakness invites chaos. That's the environment White Grape stepped into. White Grape, real name Kenny, grew up white in South Memphis. That alone meant he was judged before he ever spoke. Not because of how he moved, but because of how he looked. In a space dominated by black street culture, a white face comes with assumptions. People think soft, easy target, someone to test. He went to Central High with Pooh and the rest of the crew. He wasn't a suburban kid pretending to belong. He was outside, around danger, present when things got tense. He wasn't scared to be where others hesitated, but doubt followed him everywhere. In Memphis, being white in black street spaces means you constantly have to prove yourself. Even after showing loyalty, even after taking risks, that doubt never fully disappears. You're always one moment away from being exposed in people's eyes. White Grape tried to erase that doubt the hardest way possible. He eventually got initiated into the Grapes. The initiation was brutal. He took a serious beating, and photos of his swollen, bloodied face spread online. To him, that was proof. Proof he could endure, proof he belonged. To the streets, it still wasn't enough. Everything collapsed the day he got caught lacking. According to street accounts, White Grape was handling business when a group decided to test him. They saw a white guy with a weapon and money and assumed it would be easy. They rushed him, overpowered him, and pistol whipped him with his own gun. They took everything. But the robbery wasn't the worst part. Someone recorded it. The video showed humiliation, laughing, talking, beating him while making sure the camera caught every second. This wasn't just about robbing White Grape, it was about embarrassing Choppa Gang through him. When that clip hit social media, it spread instantly. Group chats, Instagram, Facebook, Memphis doesn't forget visuals. Once people see you violated on camera, your reputation doesn't take a hit. It collapses. The jokes came fast. People questioned why Choppa Gang ever trusted him. Comments turned racial. They weren't just mocking White Grape, they were mocking the crew for letting him in. And in the streets, image is everything. When Pooh Shiesty saw the video, it wasn't about sympathy. It was about damage control. A soldier caught slipping on camera becomes a liability. No matter how loyal he was before, perception had shifted. The decision was quick. White Grape was out. No second chances, no redemption mission, no quiet separation. He was completely disowned. In the streets, that's worse than being an enemy. Enemies are expected to move against you. A former member carries stigma. For White Grape, it was a shock. These weren't just associates. They were his protection, his identity, his safety net. He took beatings, took risks, and one bad moment erased everything. But Memphis doesn't allow reset buttons. He still lived there, still had to move around, still had eyes on him. Without Choppa Gang, he had no shield. Some people felt bad for him, others saw opportunity. Being kicked out signaled weakness, so he went back to hustling on his own. That alone was dangerous. Everyone knew he no longer had backing. Every deal carried risk. Every interaction felt tense. And on top of that, he still had something to prove, not just to others. To him, he was tired of being tested, tired of being seen as soft, tired of humiliation following him everywhere. That robbery video didn't just cost him his gang, it branded him. Pressure like that builds fast. Then came the deal in Binghamton. Reports say White Grape met with a group connected to West Memphis to move product. The exchange involved fake money. When he realized what was happening, tension exploded. In another situation, this might have ended with words exchanged and everyone walking away. But walking away didn't feel like an option anymore. To White Grape, it felt like another setup. Another moment where people assumed he wouldn't react because of how he looked. Another test of whether he was really about it. This time, he chose violence. Shots were fired, one man died. In seconds, everything was over. White Grape went from a former Choppa Gang member trying to rebuild to a murder suspect facing life-altering charges. One decision erased any future he had left. That's where the story stops being street drama and becomes something heavier. Race doesn't disappear in the streets. It just shows up quietly. People talk about stereotypes going one way, but rarely talk about how assumptions move in all directions. White Grape lived under constant pressure to prove he was dangerous enough to belong. When he got robbed, that moment wasn't treated as a setback. It was treated as confirmation. Confirmation of what some people already believed. Ask yourself this: if a core member like Big 30 had been robbed on camera, would he have been kicked out instantly? Or would the crew have rallied around him to fix the damage? The answer makes people uncomfortable. White Grape didn't just lose protection, he lost belief. And that loss pushed him toward a moment that destroyed multiple lives. Now look at where everyone ended up. White Grape sits facing serious charges. The man who died left behind family and people who loved him, all over fake money and wounded pride. Choppa Gang itself is fractured. Pooh Shiesty is locked up dealing with federal issues. Other members face charges, jail time, or worse. The structure that once felt untouchable is crumbling, and White Grape's name barely gets mentioned anymore. That's the cold reality. The streets move on fast. Yesterday's drama becomes forgotten content, but consequences don't fade. Pressure doesn't disappear, and violence never fixes what perception breaks. This story isn't about defending anyone, it's about understanding how fast mistakes turn into tragedies when pride, pressure, and image collide. White Grape thought proving toughness would earn respect. Instead, it erased his future. One clip, one decision, one moment where walking away felt impossible. That's how fast everything falls apart. So ask yourself this. Was Choppa Gang right to cut him off? Could White Grape have walked away from that deal? Or was the pressure already too heavy by then? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you want more real breakdowns like this. And stay safe, because the streets don't give second chances.